Hello, it's Michael Watts here, and I am in Berlin with the wonderful Alan GOGOLL.
G'day.
It's been a very exciting week. We spent the past 2 days at the legendary Hansa studios here, recording Alan's next album. And one of the most beautiful aspects of, well, it's only Wednesday, so it's been a hell of a week so far. One of the most beautiful aspects of this week has been the fact that the Swedish luthier Ted Ostrom flew in with Alan's new guitar. It's a beautiful reimagined 00, all sorts of interesting custom features that we'll look at in detail later on. This was not our first time at Hansa Studios. Lioness Lullabies was recorded there last year. I was the producer on that as well, which is a real privilege. Alan, what is it about Hansa that you love?
I think you can attest to this. The moment that you walk in, it feels like home. And I'm sure you and me both have been to a few studios in our time, and Hansa, the history aside, you walk in there, and I still remember when we went there for the first time, we were greeted with the very friendly faces of Kian, who was once again our engineer on this session.
Yes, indeed.
And the crew, and it really was so special, and just an incredible place. An incredible place to be, and an incredible place to record and make music.
The live room at Hansa is just gorgeous. I remember very vividly the fact that the first time we went in there, we all started whispering. Do you remember that? And suddenly everything got very, very quiet, and we were suddenly very aware of the way that our voices were carrying in that room. And then when they put you down in front of the mics and you played your guitar for the first time, just the way that it filled that space was wonderful. I'll never forget that.
You can't help but just be in awe of the space, and it doesn't command anything from you, but it just, I don't know, this weight that you didn't know you were carrying is lifted, I think. And it's it was said more than once, this would be a wonderful place to just sleep. Wouldn't you get a great night's rest? Because it just is so calming in there. Time kind of fades away, and you were just there with this beautiful calmness, this warmth, and it really is a magic space.
You took what a lot of people might regard as a bit of a risk by booking 2 days at one of the world's most prominent recording studios and taking a brand new instrument. Now, you didn't see it that way, did you?
As the date approached, it did feel a little bit crazy, but I knew though that I had to celebrate this guitar in some way. I started speaking to Ted about this guitar in 2019, and fast forward all these years, I'm now holding it in my hands. Aside from being just an incredible instrument, and I think a celebration of Ted's incredible work, and what I feel is my first real signature guitar, I knew I just wanted to celebrate this milestone with, the people closest to me, you being one of them. And one more thing, and I said this the first time I introduced you to the team at Hansa, but no one in the world knows what a luthier-made guitar should sound like, quite like you. And it really was, not only a pleasure to work with you, but a reassurance that you were going to help me get the very best out of Ted's guitar, and such a special instrument. So I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you.
It was an absolute joy. Yeah. It really was. People have asked me in the past what producing Alan actually entails. My answer is always just concentration and listening to the details, the nuances in his playing. I've been listening to Alan play guitar for years now, and the first time I saw your work online, I think like a lot of people, my initial response was sort of twofold. One of absolute terror and one of joy that something like this could exist. Since I was a kid, I've been kind of obsessed with the guitar and the techniques involved. And I have not seen anything like Alan's playing. And so from that point of view, my job is to, I guess, listen, as I say, to the nuances. There are times when I'm literally listening to maybe 12 to 16 notes a second.
I think first and foremost, we've known each other for quite a few years now, and I don't think it's any secret that you are the reason that I'm playing Ted's instruments. I trust those ears. The first time we worked together properly was on Lioness Lullabies last year in Hansa, and that was, I guess I tend to like bite off almost more than I can chew.
That's kind of life as an independent artist.
And that was 8 songs, I think.
Yeah,
it was something like that.
8 or 9 in a day.
And in a day, and that's quite a big ask, and I really couldn't have done that without you being like, right, that was a great take, move on, let's check this. And I think what we came out with really is an album that I'm so proud of, and I know is not only special to me but to other people as well, and that really means so much. And there's just some heart there. It was a special moment, and
absolutely.
And I really couldn't have done that without you. I probably would have got 3 songs in and fallen apart.
Well,
I think
it wasn't just however many takes it was, and it was something like 8 or 9, but it was the fact that you insist, and I love you for this, but you insist on single takes, no punch-ins, no multi-tracks, just you. And I know that that's the way that you've worked with yourself over the years, and it's astonishing to see it actually happen in front of your face, but it's not the easy way, is it?
No, it's definitely not the easy way. It's definitely the rewarding way, though. And a rule for myself that I've had to make it more manageable is if it's 80%, that's good enough. And the music should come before technique. There might be 1 or 2 notes that don't quite work, but if the whole song is musical, then that's okay. And that's really quite hard to judge, as I'm sure you're well aware. When you are the one playing the instrument, you can definitely get lost in the playing, and that's a beautiful beautiful feeling too. But to actually have someone who you trust to say, yes, that was the take, that really is invaluable, and definitely stops overthinking, which you, me, and I'm sure anyone who's created anything knows overthinking really is
Can happen.
Really is the enemy, I guess, for lack of a better word.
As I mentioned at the start of this video, this is not Alan's first Ostron guitar, but it's fair to say that this is your first custom-made, bespoke instrument from Ted. Now, I know that a lot of thought went into this guitar. What do you look for in an instrument?
Now, that's a great question, and one I've often thought about. And I think for any of us, what we want in a guitar is it to express the ideas that we want to express as easily as possible. It could be said for many things. You want to remove that friction, and you just want it to be effortless. You don't want to fight the instrument.
Right.
You don't want you don't want to be fighting the instrument when you're playing, when you're composing, when you're just noodling, when you're holding it, when it just, you want to remove as much of those little things that could hold you up as possible.
We have a couple of specs that I really wanted to discuss with you. First of all, the 13 fret neck.
Yeah, so this was... I'd never had a 13th fret guitar before. But,
No, you don't say. They're relatively rare.
Yeah, but after speaking with Ted, and Ted has been familiar now with what I do for some time, and I knew that I wanted a smaller body, spruce, maple guitar.
So you were specifically looking for something to go with the African Blackwood OM that you already have?
Absolutely.
Right.
So I think that's very much the orchestral instrument. And many years ago, I had a small body spruce maple guitar, and I really just loved that brightness, that perkiness.
Yeah.
And so for this guitar, I thought, right, that's what I want. And after chatting with Ted, he's been working on this model thinking about refining this model for many years, and it was exciting for me to get a new model. And I also wanted Ted to do something that he was excited about.
Oh, of course,
as well.
This is a genuine collaboration between you two, isn't it?
I think before we went into Hansa, I'd maybe spent 2 hours with the guitar running through, not even all the songs that I was going to play, and it really just all fell into place. So I don't use fret markers. This is the fret.
No, that's something I did want to talk to you about, mate. I mean, come on. 13 fret neck, no fret markers whatsoever. I struggled with this. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm used to a 12 fret with no markers whatsoever. I did end up using the goldfish a little bit as a visual indicator.
Absolutely.
And that helps. We'll talk about the goldfish later. But this wide expanse of ebony without any markers whatsoever, what was the thinking behind that? Why did you choose that?
That goes way back to, I can't even remember, but years ago I had a guitar with no markings, and I think I was kind of inspired by classical instruments like the cello, violin, and also because I use a capo with so many of my songs, I found that fret markers actually started throwing me off more than they were helping. And I kind of love the aesthetics, and I also kind of like not really many points of reference. I feel like keeps things a little bit exciting, at least for me.
That element of danger.
I think I do. So I've had this guitar for a few days now, and it really just feels like me. It's Ted's sound. As soon as I heard it, I was in the other room before, and he strummed it, and I was like, that is a sound I know and I love, and that is Ted's sound that I fell in love with. And if I could try and put into words, I mean, there's a reason I'm maybe an instrumental guitarist. Words often fail me, but like each string has its own voice, has its own space, and even when things get complex, every string is working together. There's no, the bass strings aren't overpowering the trebles. It's just so balanced. There's nothing the guitar does that, I don't want it to do I just feel like I have so much control, and each, there's just so many possibilities when you have an instrument like that.
Now, I've seen you do what you do from this distance on several occasions. Now I've seen it online. I don't understand it. I don't know how it works, and I'm not asking you to show me. I'm just delighted that it exists. This is a technique that goes past the initial Cascade harmonic explorations of players like the legendary Lenny Breau, Tommy Emmanuel. This is Alan's bell harmonic technique. I find it staggeringly beautiful, exhilarating, wonderful. It doesn't matter how many times I experience it, I still get the same goosebumps. So I'm going to ask you, mate, if you wouldn't mind showing us a bit.
I would love to. Something like that.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, I do have a question for you, Alan, that is based purely on personal curiosity. You shared with me that in the past 28 days, videos featuring your music, your original compositions, have reached an audience of over 1 billion people on TikTok, 200 million across Instagram. I guess my question is, what's that like?
Mind blowing,
right?
Actually, like they are incredible numbers, and it's so special to feel. I feel like my music has really found its home, and it's being the soundtrack and playing this supportive role to people's lives, really. And it might just be a silly little video, or it might be something that's really quite deep and really something very personal to someone, and it's not lost on me. I do go through some of the videos, and I do really, I think now take the time to appreciate that. That's a very, I suppose, privileged position, and it's really, it's mind blowing. It's very humbling, and it's just, I feel, it's a very special feeling to know that my music is used by so many people.
Well, you've become an integral part of, a lot of people's storytelling about their own lives, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful way to put it. I mean, I know I'm not the only instrumental musician and the only guitarist doing this. So for any younger players or even older players, we have this incredible opportunity to see our music be used in a way. And as guitarists, not a day almost goes by where somebody doesn't go, oh, why don't you sing? Why don't you have a band? Why don't you do these things to become the center point? Like, why isn't there more focus on you?
Right.
But is music really about that, or is it about creating this atmosphere and this ambience? Certainly with what we do, that just maybe can lift somebody's mood, or can just be the soundtrack to a video that they just made. And that's a really unique and special thing about instrumental music. And I think the acoustic guitar and what we do as fingerstyle guitarists, as solo acoustic guitarists, there's an intimacy there.
Yes, absolutely.
Which really is so special.
It can be universal.
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of people get disheartened thinking that maybe the acoustic guitar is for a niche audience, that solo pieces especially are just for a very small community of people who grew up on Michael Hedges or Bert Jansch and all this sort of thing. But you've proved, as have others, that it really can be a universal texture that means a lot to people.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really it's an incredible time to be an instrumental guitarist.
Well, it is for you, mate, especially with a new guitar. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan Gogol. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks also to Ted Ostrand for flying in. Actually, no, he took the bus, didn't he? He didn't fly.
He did. It was 22 hours or something like that.
22-hour bus ride from Sweden because he didn't want to put this thing in the hold. And who can blame him? Thank you to Ted Ostrand. Thank you to the amazing team at Hansa Studios. Also, thank you to the team at The Orchard who represent Alan and his recorded works. And thank you to you for watching. It has been an absolute joy. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay tuned.
Ciao.